So we're starting out this lesson by finding the area of this here triangle. The area of a triangle is half times base times height. The base is the bottom of this triangle, and it tells me that the base is 5. It would be nice if I actually learned how to write things. The base is 5. The height is 3, so I'm going to circle that guy because it tells me that. And so the area is going to be half times base, which is 5. That's supposed to be a parentheses, but it's the worst parentheses ever. Times 3, which is h. So I'm going to use Siri. Half times 5 times 3.
It's 7.5.
And so we will say that the area is 7.5 centimeters squared. Now, you may have forgotten this, but when you're finding the area of a shape, your answer has to be centimeters, inches, feet, squared. Now, what if I wanted to do this on the calculator here, on this calculator, and not have to use Siri? Because some people are like, I don't have Siri, I have a flip phone. And that's fine. But you all have these calculators. So what if I wanted to do a half times 5 times 3? Like this. 1 divided by 2 in parentheses, a half, times 5 times 3. And there you go. Now, we're going to really want this calculator because of a specific blue symbol here for what we're learning today and for this chapter. In Chapter 8, we're going to learn a specific blue symbol that we're going to use all the time. Okay. I will be able to find the volume of a cylinder. What do you call an educated tube? A graduated cylinder. Ah, that's good. What the heck's a cylinder, you ask? Well, by the way, I emailed everybody this morning all the notes. So if you check your email, the notes are there. So anyway, a cylinder is a solid, and a solid is a 3D shape with 2 circular bases. If I were to take, and why did I forget to do that? I was going to take a can and open it up and show you exactly what it looks like, but I left it upstairs, silly me. If I were able to take a can and open it up, I can bring up a circle, and open up the bottom, I can bring down a circle, and when I unravel it, I get myself a rectangle. That's what a cylinder looks like. It's a circle on the top and a circle on the bottom. So it doesn't matter if I flip the circle upside down or right side up. My base is a circle, and a cylinder is 2 circular bases. If you have scrap paper, if you're taking notes, try to draw that figure out. The important measurements in a cylinder are this. I'm going to take one of my circles, put a circle right in the middle of it, and draw a line off to the side. In the chat, write out what you think that's called. I'll give you 10 seconds. It starts with an R. I don't care if you misspell it. Spelling doesn't matter to me. So radius, according to Alex, is that guy. Good. It is the radius. Who remembers what it's called if it goes the entire circle? If it goes the entire circle, what's it called? Starts with a D. Ends in diameter. That's all right. Diameter. We'll bring that word up again several times. Diameter is when it goes the whole way, but we don't care about radius or diameter right now. We care about radius. Straight up and down is the height. Straight up and down is the height. So those are the only 2 important measurements that we care about when we look at a cylinder. If I'm not given the radius, if I'm given the whole diameter, we'll deal with that when we get to it. But we will have to deal with that. I guarantee you that. Now, what we're going to deal with in this chapter is a little something called volume. Now, volume is how much an object can hold, right? If I were to take my mug here, which is filled with pens, and dump this out and put water in this mug, which, by the way, says I'm the best dad ever. If I were to put water in it, the amount of water that I put into this mug is the volume. Now, the material that I use to make this mug, or if I wanted to paint the outside of this mug, that is called surface area. So and you guys learned that probably last year or maybe even 6th grade. You probably just called it area. But surface area, let's see if I can fit it. Surface area is how much material makes up an object. So if I had a box, right, and if I were to fill that box with like crumbled up paper, that's the volume. If I were to use paper to cover the box like Christmas, that's surface area. We are not going to worry about finding surface area, not in this chapter, not this year. Surface area, that's old stuff. That's 7th grade, that's 6th grade stuff. We care about volume. The volume of a cylinder can be given by the formula V equals BH. B stands for the area of the base, but I don't like that. This is the equation we will use. Memorize it. The volume of a cylinder is V equals, what the heck is that symbol? What is this? What is that? If you know it, unmute yourself. Or don't. It's also a food. A round food. Pi. So this guy is pi. Pi is 3.14159, blah, 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 blah. Now, look at this little calculator over here. I don't feel like in my head doing 3.1514159, blah, 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 blah. There's a pi button. Where is it? Where is it? Well, if you hit this, there it is. If you hit the second button, boop, and then hit the little caret button, boop, that's pi. Look at that. So we could do the calculations on our phones, and we could do the calculations on our calculator, but we're going to do a lot of calculations involving pi. Most of the time, I'm going to be given R, I'm going to be given H, and I have to find volume, and I'm just going to have to be like, all right, well, pi times number squared times H. So let's get to it, babe. No. We'll get to it, baby, after we watch a video. A quick video. These are how fast you should do these. By the way, look at the shape that's already in the video. That's not the radius. That's the diameter. So make sure you watch the video and see what happens and see what we have to do if I give you a shape with a diameter instead of a radius. I'm going to mute myself now.
I should know not to delete it.
We can't hear it. So I think we learned this the other day. When I share my entire screen, you won't be able to hear it. So I have to just share the tab. We'll do it that way. Thank you guys for speaking up. All right. Thank you guys.
Find the volume of a cylinder whose height is 4 centimeters and diameter is 10 centimeters. So I really don't care about the diameter too much. I care about the radius. Remember, radius is half of diameter, so half of 10 is 5. My formula for volume is V equals pi r for radius squared h for height. I'm going to plug in pi 5 squared, 4 for height, throw that into a calculator, and you're going to get pi times 5 squared times 4. That gives us 314.16, we'll say. So V equals 314.16 centimeters cubed. Find the volume of a cylinder whose height is
So what you saw me do in the video is you saw me finding what the radius was. I wasn't given the radius. I was given the diameter. So I took the diameter and I cut it in half. That gave me the radius. Then I said, all right, well, my formula is V equals pi r squared h. I plugged it right into my calculator, got a terrible answer, and I rounded it to 2 decimal places. If I don't tell you where to round it, then just give me a bunch of decimal places. Who cares? Who cares? And in the majority of these cases, I probably don't tell you where to round it. Now, some of you might be like, teacher back in the day told me to use 3.14. That's great. But if I use the button in my calculator, it gives me more numbers, which means my answer is going to be more accurate. The only time that you should use 3.14 is if you're doing a math problem and it says use 3.14, which will happen maybe on tests and multiple choice problems from time to time. We'll see. What I'm looking at here is I'm looking at a cylinder, right? I'm looking at a cylinder. And I'm asked to find the volume of a cylinder, so I write out V equals pi r squared h. Okay, that's what we did in the video. I'm given my height. My height is how tall the cylinder is. So my height is obviously that guy right there. And God is good. I'm given the radius. In the video, I was given the diameter. In this case, I'm given the radius, so I'm fine. All I have to do is just plug it in. V equals pi 8 squared 15. Now, if we do get to the Blukit or however you pronounce it, you're probably going to want to use Siri. You can use your calculator. Your calculator is fine. But if you have Siri, all you have to do is pi times 8 squared times 15.
The answer is approximately 3015.93.
0.93, the old lady said. Now, when I'm finding volume, my answer, and you saw this in the video, my answer is centimeters cubed. Why? Well, it's a 3D object. So my unit is going to be cubed. Ice cubed. Easy. Just plug it in, baby. Shall we do another? So this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a cylinder. It says find the volume. V equals pi r squared h. My h is how tall it is. Is 34 my r? Yes or no? Say it, type it. Is 34 r? No one's saying anything. 34 is my diameter because it covers the entire thing. If it shows you the whole line, that's your diameter. So what do I have to do with 34? Divide it by 2. And my radius is 17. So my radius is 17. If you were to type out 34, you're going to get a much bigger answer, 4 times bigger, in fact. So now that I know what I have, V equals pi times 17 squared times 27. So let's use my calculator over here this time. Pi, second caret thing, parentheses, 17, close parentheses. Remember, x squared is squared. Boop. Parentheses, 27. So I'm just going to write it all out. Why not? Who cares? It's only 5 dots, 5 numbers. 2, 4, 5, 1, 3.84748. My unit is meters. And since it's volume, it's going to be meters cubed. Gross. It's a gross problem. So is me cracking my knuckles there. That was pretty gross too. Look at you, Josh. Oh, yeah, Josh, you were right. You just missed a 5. Good job. What's the height? I mean, this is a cylinder, so yeah, I'll write it out. V equals pi r squared h. What's the height? Is it 4? Is it 12? Or is it something different?
4.
I don't know. It's not 4. Good guess, but it's not 4. Here's the problem. When I put, if this is a can of soda, am I going to lay it down sideways? No. I'm going to take my can of soda and make sure it's laying up. So how tall is this really big can of soda? Is it 4 feet?
12.
It's 12. So that's my height. Remember, the radius is half a circle. So the radius is always going to be the line attached to the circle. So my radius is 4 and my height is 12. You try this. You completely try this on your own. We have all the information that we need for me to do this, guy. I'll give you a 30-second head start, and then I'm going to write down what I need to write down. Go. Anybody who wants to put it in the chat can put it in the chat. Okay, Josh has an answer for us. Let's see. I actually don't know, but we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. Pi is pi. The radius is 4, so 4 squared, and the height is 12. So now that you see that, you should be able to either use your calculator or your phone and see if Josh is right. I'll give you guys about 15 more seconds and see if Josh is right. You can ask your phone, pi times 4 squared times 12. Or you can just type out pi times 4 squared times 12. Pi times 4 squared times 12.
The answer is approximately 603.186.
Good, Josh. Feet cubed. Questions? Remember at the very beginning, I gave you that equation. I said we're going to use that equation. We were also given this equation here. We're not going to use that equation that much. Okay, we're really not going to use that equation that much until we run into weird problems like this guy. It tells us what the base is. So I'm going to use the equation this time, this one time, V equals BH, which means V equals 4 pi times 5. I'm going to open up a poll, and I'm going to put 3 possible answers. You have 30 seconds to, once I put the poll up, you have 30 seconds to put what you think the answer is.
Eight.
Okay, the poll's up. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to put an answer in if you think you know what it is. Five more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. 4 pi times 5.
It's about 62.8318.
Units cubed. Beep. Beep. Units cubed. So that's how we find the volume. You just plug stuff in. You get what you get. But notice how for every single problem, I always wrote out my volume formula first. And that's going to be very, very, very important for all the problems. You might look at this crooked looking cylinder and say, oh, no, that's wrong. Well, that is a cylinder. It's a cylinder. It's just crooked. I'm still going to use the same formula because I still have a height and I still have a radius. This is going to give me the same exact answer than as if it was straight up in the air. So I don't care if it's crooked, it's going to be the same exact answer. So you're my height, H, and you're my radius, R. It's going to give me the same exact answer. So what I want you to do is I'm going to create another poll again, and I'm going to put the answer in the poll, and you're going to see if you could do it beginning to end. It's the same exact way, the same exact way, the same exact way that we did the other problems. No tricks. So let me get a poll up. All right, poll is up. Set a timer for 30 seconds.
Your timer is set for 30 seconds.
Means we have 8 minutes left. There's my timer. There's my timer. Quick, put your answer in if you have one. Too slow. Okay. The 4 of you that did it got it. We have pi times 7 squared times 5.
The answer is approximately 769.69.
And that would be feet cubed. Okay. Again, when it's crooked like this, it doesn't matter. You just say it's still 5 feet tall. I don't care if it's sideways, it's still 5 feet tall. And the radius is still 7. It doesn't make a difference. Skip that one. We might have time just to do one, maybe 2 of these. So let's do this one. Let's go in reverse. Well, yeah. Let's go in reverse. We'll do a lot more of these, but let's just do one just to kind of give you an idea as to what we're dealing with. All right. I'm not finding the volume. This problem's different. This problem's a challenge. It's a very difficult problem. Now, you're going to see these problems from time to time, but we still have to do them. I'm not finding the volume. I have the volume. I have to find the missing side. So this is what I do. I'm going to write out the formula. V equals pi r squared h. I don't know what r is. I don't. I do know what h is. That's my height. I also know what my volume is. So let's plug in what we know. 3, 7, 8, 5 equals pi. Pi is pi. R squared times 19. Because h is 19. I have to figure out what r is. Is r all by itself? No. What's in the way? Pi is attached. 19 is attached. And squared is attached. Let's get rid of the pi first because it's in front. Let's just get rid of it first. I'm going to divide both sides by pi. Cross you out. Let's do it here. 3,785 divided by second caret gives me pi. Okay. 1204.80. So why don't we just leave it as 0.8? I'm allowed to do that. 0.8. That's going to equal r squared times 19. Is r all by itself? No, because 19 is still attached. So I have to divide both sides by 19. $1204.8 divided by 19. 63.4. 1. I have one more step to do on both sides. Unmute yourself and tell me what it is, or type it out if you remember what it is. What do I do now?
Divide.
Close. You're on the right track. You're on the right track. It's the opposite of a square. The square's in the way. How do we get rid of a square? It rhymes with square fruit. I thought I had someone. Yeah, square root both sides. The square root is 63.41.
The square root of 63.4 is 7.96304.
And that's what, centimeters? Now, we're not going to put radius is going to be centimeters cubed. It's going to be just centimeters because radius is just a length, not a volume. So, time is running out. I didn't realize how much we did and how fast time went. Okay? So we've got to skip a few, but that's okay. We'll do more. Which do you think is bigger? The cube or the cylinder?
Cube.
Cube. Because the cylinder could just fit in that box. It has all those like corners like out. So good. Boo, 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 boo. All right. Lessons ended.